what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Hey everyone, welcome into The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 100. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. How you guys doing, man? We've made it. We've made it to 100. How you guys doing? Carl, how are you, man?
Oh, I was a little groggy waking up this morning. Just trying to look a little fresh if I could. Had a bit of a headache, but I'm excited. 100 episodes is a big deal. It's a big milestone,
Yeah. Burley, how are you, man?
I'm good. Carl, is the headache from you last week having those sit-downs between Square and Microsoft trying to get them to get the Tactics Ogre onto Xbox?
Oh, yeah. You really...
Burley just won't give that up, man. He
really banging my head against the wall, trying to, get them to understand that if you put games on Xbox, people will buy them. I think it's maybe a difficult concept in Japan. I don't know.
Probably the same. All right, we got a great show for you for this episode 100. Of course, the first ever Disney and Marvel showcase. We're going to be talking about that. Nintendo testers facing sexual discrimination. We're going to be talking about that. Final Fantasy VII Remake. There's going to be 3 parts. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Embracer Group, basically buying everything under the sun. We're going to be talking about that. And then our topic of the show, of course, Gamescom is next week. So we're going to be talking about what we expect from Gamescom. So stay tuned for that, as well as, of course, our new game releases for the week of August 22nd through the 28th. We'll be talking about those as well. So before we talk about the games that we've been playing this past week and getting into the weekly news beat, of course, here's a brief word about where you can find the podcast.
Before the crew discuss what they have been playing, this episode of The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon in early access for 1 day after being recorded. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry tier 1 level at $1 per month and get early access to every episode in audio and video formats, exclusive post-show content in video format when recorded, as well as watch or listen ad-free, please visit patreon.com/thearena_podcast for further details. Weekly on Sundays, the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, and in video format on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Podcast, where you can join and chat with the Arena Podcast community, and the podcast audio website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. For all information regarding the podcast and our entertainment and pop culture related content, along with our blog and forums, visit the official website of The Arena Productions at www.thearenaproductions.com. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at TheArena_podcast. Now, back to the show.
All right, guys. I've been really busy this past week, with all the other content stuff. Burley and we did some other things. Of course, the Ghostbusters, Spirits Unleashed video that we did because of the release date that was given for that. And then, of course, me prepping for the other shows. I only got to play some Fall Guys again this week. I do want to get to that Rome game, Carl, that's on PC that came to PC Game Pass. Yeah, I have it downloaded and I just haven't had a chance to start it yet. But just more Fall Guys, Burley. Just playing Fall Guys,
It's
with the little
addicting,
time
isn't
I've had.
it?
Yeah, it's addicting. It is, and I'm probably gonna try to play a little bit more Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Because there's still a lot of the DLC stuff that I haven't completed yet. I haven't 100% completed, but I'm looking forward to playing a little bit of that as well. But and of course, some of the other Game Pass games that are going to be coming out. We're going to talk about those later, anyway, in our what we're going to be playing in the upcoming week segment. But anyway. So anyway, Burley, what have you been playing this past week?
Well, you mentioned one of mine, Fall Guys. I
Yep.
play that daily for my daily challenges and stuff. I'm not
Yep.
addicted, I swear. I've been off stream. I'm continuing on with Triangle Strategy.
Nice.
It's been really, really fun and just hard making those decisions at times. The battles are a lot of fun, but can be challenging. And then on stream, it's been God of War, the 2018 game.
Cool.
That's been a lot of fun to revisit and tried out Digimon Survive.
No.
That was a lot of fun. If you liked Triangle Strategies combat, you'll love Digimon Survive's combat.
Nice. Carl, how about you, man?
Well, if you like Triangle Strategies combat, you'll love Expedition Rome combat. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I've been playing, and I'm loving it. It's actually sort of exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect certain things to be in the game. Like, it seems like when there's multiple ways to sort of like resolve quests, right? It's a real RPG. Like, I actually was thinking, sometimes these games are just more like the strategic element, right? And there's stuff in between, but like you're basically just doing battles, right? This actually has more than that, which is great. There's a story going on, obviously, but like there's a world map, and you can move around the world map. There's a timeline, like that time progresses. Like, you can send your garrison to war to do certain things. You have to like take over the region, the map. So it's another aspect. The only downside of the game is those like war battles.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not very interesting. There's nothing really terrible about it. It's just like, all right, you kind of just make some choices. You let it, and it sort of plays out this sort of boxy looking representation of your units, but nothing really interesting is happening, and there's no choice. It sort of resolves around, and then you're like, oh, make a new choice, and then there's little stats to it, and I just kind of like go through that as quick as possible. But
now, what time period is this? Is this Imperial Rome, or is this like the High Republic?
They said, I'm trying to remember. I think it said like, it's like 1st century BC or something.
Okay, so that's the transitional point between the Republic and the Empire, when Caesar crosses the Rubicon and everything, and all of that takes place. So
yeah, you're like in Asia Minor, and you're fighting Mithridates.
Okay,
that name is like a actual person, a real person. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Are you battling against war elephants?
No, there's no war elephants.
No war elephants. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you have this. So there's hex-based combat, and you have a couple different unit types, and of course there's like skill trees, and there's gear, and your weapon. You can have like different types of weapons that give you your types of attacks, right? And each weapon, the different attacks you get are associated to the weapon. So the weapon can have like a certain, even it can have 2 or 3, maybe even 4, I think. And you can then choose. You can only have 3 of those attacks at once.
I see.
So it's a nice variety there. There's a lot of choices to be made. So like I can actually, like a certain character, you can use a sword and a dagger, right? And you can choose, all right, do I want the sword ability attacks or the dagger ability attacks? Which ones do I want to use together? And then you have your special class abilities that you get through your stat trees. And there's just a lot of smart design with the combat. There's the mission goals can be interesting. Like you'll get a mission like you have to sabotage their lumber, right? And so you have to burn the lumber. So you have to go to like some sort of source of flame on the battlefield and get
the
the
destruction of resources.
Yeah. So. And you have to throw it onto the things of lumber and you have to burn it. But like they could put it out if they want. Like there's water, you could throw water on it and put it out. If you get it, you can get oil, you could throw oil to spread the oil so that when you throw the fire, it makes a bigger fire and burns multiple things of wood at the same time. There's a whole strategy to all of these different types of missions you get. And I love that. Like, I feel like every time I do a new mission, I feel like the challenge beyond just like killing everyone, and that's, there's goals, I have to steal something and then like get it out of there and get to a certain point with it. There's all kinds of smart, very great design. Like I think the team who did this, I find it hard to believe that this is like sort of an indie-ish, like double A-ish. I don't know what category to put it in because like
I would say double A.
Yeah. Most of those strategy games are, I think. Yeah.
Like it's fully voice acted. I mean, then the voice acting is good. And I'm assuming they did their research and the pronunciations are correct, and that I've never actually heard the correct pronunciations because when they say certain names, I'm like, wow, that's definitely not how I've heard it before or would have said it. Like, I'm pretty sure the show Spartacus, maybe they had stuff wrong. I don't know. And this does it right. But like, there's is it like a region or a city area called Thracia?
Yeah. Well, from the time period you're talking about, Spartacus is way off in the future.
Yeah, it's like I think they called it Thracia in that one, but in this one they say Thracia. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if that is the real saying. And the other thing I heard is wrong, because this game is very historical in its nature. So I assume that they probably did their research with all the character names and all the even the way you refer to units. Like there's explanations in between that tells you things. So like, when you're referring to a person, like when they're in your person, you call them legatus, but like when they're not in your person, you call them legate or something like that. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize the way you actually like they're speaking more about like the historical way the language was used, and it's all that's very interesting. And like I said, you can go to towns and there's people to talk to, and you might have to do a mission there, and you might have to talk to this person or find this. There might be 3 different ways to go about resolving that mission. And you might have to do something in that town, then go somewhere else and do a mission there to finish it and go back and like, and the combat is sort of seamless. So anytime you are in a location, right, like a town, and if combat's gonna happen, it's already ready to go. It's not gonna be loading in between, right? You load into that map, and that map can become a battle at any time, which is great. It's like if you make a decision like, all right, like this guy is in my way, I need to get in that building, and I decide I'm just gonna be a brute. So like I'm just gonna attack him. Battle starts right there because you've already chosen like who's your unit at that point. Like when you go into the town, and then boom, battle's there. Your units are placed on the grid, and you guys start fighting already. I'm like, this is great. I love this. It's fantastic. This is like. I know, and this is their third in this franchise of games. So I guess you can tell that maybe because I'm getting into just the third one, like they've really honed in and sort of mastered like the craft of this type of game, and they're doing it's fantastic. I want to play more than I have been able to. So.
Cool. All right. It's time to get into the weekly news beat. So of course, Disney and Marvel, they're going to have a showcase coming up. So the first ever Disney and Marvel game showcase coming in September. So it's going to be on September 9th. And a lot of Marvel and Star Wars games are probably going to be featured here. So which ones do you think, guys, we're going to see the most? Obviously, we're probably going to see some Amy Hennig's projects, of course, coming up. Probably we're going to be seeing more of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Maybe we'll see some more gameplay of that at this event. Maybe we'll actually get a release date. Who knows? But maybe we'll see more of Midnight Suns when it comes to the Marvel side of things as well. Maybe more of Spider-Man 2 or of Wolverine. We might get some more information on. So Burley, I'll start with you. What are you expecting to see here? And what do you want to see the most?
Well, what I would love to see the most is obviously Spider-Man, Insomniac, Spider-Man 2, and Wolverine, but I don't think we're going to see that much there. 'Cause these games are still like, I know they say Spider-Man 2, they're saying next year.
Mm-hmm.
It's still pretty too early, I think, before we're going to get anything. In Wolverine, we have no idea when that game's coming.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't expect, we may get some info, but the I wouldn't be. I would be. Yeah. Sorry about that. I think Jedi Survivor is definitely one we'll see at least a bit on. Whether or not it'll be as much as we want,
Mm-hmm.
time will tell.
Also, Star Wars Eclipse is another one
Yeah.
as well. So,
What?
Yeah.
And also maybe what was the Ubisoft game they were making? Yeah, Ubisoft.
There's no name.
Star
Yeah,
Wars.
hasn't been.
there's no
announced,
name
but-
yet. No, hasn't
Oh,
been
there is
announced
no
yet.
name.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So, yeah. How about you, Carl? What are you looking forward to seeing from this?
See, the thing is, I don't know what to expect. Right, this is the first time they're doing this.
Yeah.
We have no idea like the sort of scale or scope of this event yet. You know, I would love it to be I don't know. I don't want to say state of play because I want more of that. So more than that, I want it to be like a Nintendo Direct or a what do you call it? Like the Ubisoft show. Not obviously on the level of I'm not going to say the E3 showcases, but like a smaller like major showcase. That would be awesome.
Yeah, they're saying that it's going to be shown during the D23 Expo.
Yeah, so like, you know, we don't know how much emphasis they really want to put on like revealing new stuff here, which would be great. Like, you know, the Black Panther game that's supposedly rumored, right? And what else? It was, the Star Wars game, like you said.
Star Wars Eclipse, of course, Jedi Survivor, yes.
The Ubisoft, like, sort of open world one, right? Like, that would be great to, you know, we've heard about that. Would be nice to reveal it at this point.
And then Amy Hennig's projects, and then, of course, her other Marvel ensemble game from Skydance.
The Skydance one, I think, is possible, because I think there's been some talk about that. I feel like they mentioned that somewhere. So I think that one we're probably going to see. This Skydance, that could be revealed. But yeah, you might be right that it's just going to be like updates on the stuff we sort of know about already, about like Midnight Suns and Jedi Survivor and mobile crap. You know?
Oh yeah, mobile crap.
Hey, mobile gamers, we love you. Come on now.
Yeah.
They're also gamers. So.
Yeah, you don't. Yes, like, you know, this is going to have to set our expectations for what this kind of showcase is going to be.
Yeah. So, Burley, you're saying that we're probably not going to see much of Wolverine, but I mean, do you think we could get a release date? Probably we won't get a release date on Spider-Man 2. I mean, they're going to hold off, and that's going to be PlayStation's side of things, I think. But yeah, do you think we will get another like teaser trailer or some other kind of gameplay trailer for Spider-Man 2?
I think you're going to see, if anything, I think you'll get something with Spider-Man 2 over Wolverine. But you're not going to get that much, as you said. You're not going to get release date because Sony wants to have that at a special Sony event. And I don't think you're going to get too much. Like, they're not going to reveal, like I have, like a 2-minute gameplay trailer or whatever. I think we'll get a small teaser trailer.
I think, you know, you're probably right to say that, like, the Sony stuff's not going to be there because, you know, that's just how it works, right? That goes to their showcases and when they want to show it. You know, it's stupid, but they might show, you know, Spider-Man remastered for PC because we don't know, like, just came out, right? That are they treating the showcase the same way that we would expect a game showcase to treat us, or because it's part of D23, they're not normally speaking to this audience? Are they just looking at it as like, we want to show Marvel games that are already out or close to coming out or just released to a wider audience that's paying attention to our stuff right now, you know? So yeah, I could see that.
How about Knights of the Old Republic remake? Think we'll get anything on that, or is that still kind of all put on hold at the moment?
I think
that thing is.
Yeah.
That thing ain't being shown there. If you expect that, I get that expectation out of your head.
I don't think so.
Yeah. With some of the Embracer news, there was a story about they didn't specifically name the game, but they said a big game Switch developer within them. Now that might actually not be KOTOR. We don't know, but obviously that game is not coming till, if it ever comes, like 2025 at this point.
Right. Yeah, we'll see, but we're going to be talking about Embracer Group later on. But so because they, like I said, they pretty much bought everything under the sun, but we'll talk about that later. So, all right, next up.
We're gonna get. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So next up, let's talk Nintendo. Nintendo of America. Obviously, there's been some stuff in the news this past week, and there was a big article from Kotaku, and I put the link below for all of you video viewers. And before we get into this story, please let us know in the comments what you think they might be showing at this Disney and Marvel showcase. And what you think they'll focus on. We'd love to hear from all of you. So anyway, Nintendo of America testers say they faced years of sexual harassment. So in this article, there's just an array of stories of female testers that were basically contractors working at Nintendo of America over the years, even up to now, and talking about stories of being harassed sexually in the workplace by their bosses, particularly bosses that were actually full employees at Nintendo of America. Whereas a lot of these female employees that they were talking about in the article were from a contracting company, and they had a really, really difficult time getting full-time employment, becoming permanent employees at Nintendo. So, what do you guys think of this story? And from the Kotaku article, it seems like Nintendo and all of the people that they tried to reach out to would not comment on anything when it came to this story. But Carl, I'll start with you on this one. What did you think of this story?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's always terrible when you hear stuff like this. Yeah, Kotaku, man, they love putting out these type of articles. It's like their bread and butter. Just anything that's going to stoke a emotional reaction. That's their take there. Yeah. But I didn't really pay much attention to this story and it's like Nintendo of America. I'm like, oh, of course, yeah, right. You think originally you hear like Nintendo, you think, oh, like Nintendo, like the Japanese company, but then you hear Nintendo of America. I'm like, of course, yeah, because this crap happens all the time in America. Like we're animals over here. Like what's going on? Can we fix this? What's wrong with our society here that this stuff happens all the time? It's just way too prevalent.
Yeah. Burley, your thoughts?
Yeah. It's sad that this continues to happen. It doesn't matter. In just like every industry, this has to this unfortunately just happens.
Yeah.
And that these people, they're not, and Nintendo's not commenting and all that because Nintendo is finding these people and having their foots to their throats. Let's be honest, because they don't want this bad PR and all this and that. So that Nintendo is wanting to deal with it internally. Plus, they have to, any decision they make, they got to go to Japan, and I'm sure Japan is right now livid on this.
Only 20% of the workforce here in Japan are female executive. The other 80% are male. So there you go. Yeah. But I mean, what strikes me about this article too is the contracting company was called Aerotech, and they split off into 3 different brands, and one of the brands that they split into, Aston Carter, they just basically they're continuing to work with Nintendo and bringing in new contracted testers, and they're just not doing anything. to to try to help these contracted employees. And
No,
that's
because
that's
they
the
care.
yeah
They care more about their relationship with
Nintendo. Yeah,
Nintendo, because
obviously.
let's be honest, they would rather, because they know that's a big business for them.
Yeah.
They'd rather keep that contact, keep that partnership than do anything, which is not right, but unfortunately is how a lot of businesses in the world of business conduct business.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just you know, the female employees, I mean, they need to stand up more, obviously, because in the article they were talking about how a lot of them would just keep their mouths shut because, of the ramifications. And obviously, if you're, on a tight budget or something, and, that's the job that you need to have, obviously, sometimes, it's unfortunate, but, to keep your job, yeah, you're going to have to keep your mouth shut, unfortunately. But, I think, you were talking about, Carl. Yeah, it's like an animalistic society in the United States. Well, yeah, the way to change that is for females to become more animalistic and just get right in the faces of the men that are doing this, so that the men don't do it anymore.
It's really complicated,
Yeah,
because
it is.
that doesn't happen in a lot of reasons, because even when you do, you don't get the result you want. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So you might stand up for yourself. You might try to get other people on your side, but what ends up happening is that you get fired because you said something.
Yeah.
And then you can try to fight that, but you probably won't win because the deck is stacked against you.
Yeah.
It's just not a fair, equal society, really. We're still not there yet.
Yep.
And I don't know how you get there. I don't know what changes you can make. You need societal, systemic changes. You need the government to make changes. And we've made some strides, but you take a couple steps forward and you take a step back. It happens a lot.
Yep. Yep. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. So Final Fantasy now remake is now a 3-part trilogy. And of course, now they had a 25th anniversary celebration live stream. And of course, the developer Nomura Song says that development on Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 has already begun. My question is, why does this have to be 3 parts? Obviously, marketing. Obviously, it's the marketing deal and all. But I mean, it's like, come on now. It's like there's a lot of people out there that don't have the budget to buy all 3 parts. Just make it like one big part. I don't know. Burley, what do you think of this? I'll start with you on this one.
You know why it's 3 parts? Because the original game came on 3 discs. that they're going to use that cheesy bullshit just to sell it. No, I agree. I agree. This should have just been like I stated originally, because I had to get the first game pre-ordered physically, and then I canceled my pre-order, and then I caved digitally because everyone was throwing it to me when I was just back when the game came out, and I was like, god damn it. This was they're doing I really wish they would have just made this as one game came out, but they're doing this as 3 different games, and then eventually they'll sell you the all-in-one edition well after, with all 3 all in one package.
Well, they're saying that Rebirth is supposed to come out this winter, right?
Yeah.
It's this winter, and then we have no idea when Part 3 is going to be coming. Nomura Song says, of course, it's in development, but who knows? It could be like 2025, 2026 before Part 3 comes out. So
I think winter, even though it has been a few years, I still think that's 2024. I think it's 2024.
Wow.
For Rebirth.
So they're going to delay it then again. So let's see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's next year for sure, obviously. But does that mean it's going to be late next year, or will that get pushed? Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
This is an old story, right? Like it didn't just happen.
It was updated from the June story. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
yeah. Well,
This
they've now confirmed
that it's a 3-part
yeah.
trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's gonna be more than 2 because if you played the first game, you know that that's only like a tiny chunk of the original game, the full game. I mean, so
first 4 hours I'd say.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you know, if that's the way they're pacing it, I mean, there's no way to think that Rebirth was going to be all of the rest of the game. So yeah, 3. I mean, 4 parts, whatever. Obviously, they're limiting to 3, and I think at this point they've decided that this isn't a remake anymore. Like, it's just whatever they want to do with it. Like, it's just a different. You know, I mean, everybody will debate this and argue, like, you know, is this a sequel? Some people like to say when it seems, you know, I don't want to spoil anything about the story, but it just seems to be like a sort of what if alternate version, right? Of the events from Final Fantasy VII. And if there's a actual like canonical like order reason why this then is a sequel that hasn't been revealed, you know, so you know, it's not really to say that that's definitive yet what it is. I just really, really wish it was just a remake of the original.
Same, because that changing what they changed for like the story wise, like I think they did it just to be different and subvert. It's like, because like it's like, really, so now we're gonna have an inverse of these key moments.
Yeah, you know, I always want all of Final Fantasy in its entirety, Final Fantasy VII, right, in its entirety, remade with modern visuals and music and updated combat sensibilities, not changed to action, but you know, just more, I guess, appealing to the average person. Like, you could still do turn-based in some regard. I mean, you could have. You know, I kind of get why they didn't, but I don't think you needed to go as far as they did with this game and like really get deep in there and try to build out this big, you know, world out of this 5-hour chunk of the game. Like, I don't know why you're doing that and why you added all the because if we're gonna get more of this, like all the side quest stuff that was in the first game, that's just dreadful. It's just the worst content. Like, I skipped all of that. I did some of it, in the beginning, early on, and then I quickly realized like this content is terrible and I don't want to be part of it. I'm just gonna play the mainline story and that's it, because anything else you're doing outside of the mainline story sucks and the rewards for it are not great. I know there are some like better stuff you can get.
The VR missions were fun, and the VR summon battles, those were fun.
Yeah, it's just more combat. It's fine. Yeah, I remember those. Yeah, and you can get like other summons. I know if you do some of the other things, which I guess are nice. Yeah, summons are always nice.
So do you guys think by the time part 3 comes out, do you think Xbox will have some kind of strategy to be able to lure Final Fantasy VII over to the Xbox ecosystem by then?
This is all going to depend, I think, on if Square Enix ends up getting bought by Sony, let's just say, because none of like there's any actual rumors saying that's going to happen, because I don't think there's any credibility to that at this point. And considering Square said that they want to sell stakes in their developers, that implies to me that they're not trying to sell the entire company.
Yeah.
But that would be, I think, the only thing that would completely bar it from coming to Xbox. Otherwise, it may be the case that people, I think, have speculated that the Xbox release is hindered in some way by the release of the second part. Like, there may have been some wording in the contract that said like it can't come out, you know, like until the second part is coming within a year, or some other weird like logic to it, right? Or maybe it has to be until the second part is already coming out, like within the fiscal year, like it's announced with a date and something like that, because that would make sense as to why it got further pushed out, because
Yeah.
the idea that Sony would continue to pay more money for exclusivity is a little odd. Like, you might think they would do it,
Yeah.
but also, like, is that a smart business thing? Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna keep throwing cash at you to not put it on Xbox when, at this point, it's been a long time, and it's not going to hurt your sales for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, they may want to ensure that people think that, all right, part 2 is on PlayStation, and that's part of the deal. And don't expect that on Xbox anytime soon. So if then they get the first part after, let's say, second comes out, then they can still get that benefit of, like, we get it way before you can get the old one. You know, you can have that old crap. We got the new stuff here. You know, it's just like that. So we'll see.
And then maybe 2 and 3 would come together. Who knows? But no.
Yeah, once that's all said and done, maybe
Right.
that could happen, right? On the Xbox. Yeah.
Right. All right. So let's move on. Episode 100. Let's continue on. Our next story, Embracer Group. So, Embracer Group was busy this week, guys. They acquired many game studios. So we're going to get to that. The link, of course, to the story from Gematsu is below for you. So Embracer Group acquires Bitwave Games, Geotech, Limited Run Games, Middle Earth Enterprises, Singtrix, Tatsujin, Tripwire Interactive, and Tuxedo Labs. So yeah, like I said, everything under the sun, basically. So I want to get your guys' take on this. I think probably the Middle Earth acquisition is probably one of the biggest ones. Of course, with all the Lord of the Rings content and everything that they can use there. Obviously, being able to port retro games over to modern consoles, I think that's a big thing here in this acquisition, as well as a Tripwire is another big one because, of course, the game Maneater, which was a huge success when it came out, that is another, studio that now they've acquired. So, which of these acquisitions do you think made the most sense? And were you surprised at anything when it came to these acquisitions? Burley, I'll start with you on this. Go for it, man.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that the Middle Earth was up for sale and that they were the ones that just stepped in and said, "Oh, this is up for sale. Alrighty, let's just take our wad of cash here. Here we go. We bought this." Limited Run surprised me a little. Be interesting to see how that's going to change because I do like Limited Run, even though some of their stuff is really expensive.
Yeah, not a lot stood out to me here. Then obviously the two you mentioned, like Middle Earth and Limited Run. I don't know these developers. And he said one was Maneater, which I do remember that game.
Yeah,
fun game.
Yeah. So I don't think this changes much. It's a bunch of studios. There was part of the story that there was a larger part studio that they didn't name for some reason. And I guess that hasn't been revealed yet. So maybe that might be a big deal, whatever that is. We'll see. Yeah. But considering the whole price of this was like, what did they say? I think it was 600 some odd million. I don't remember.
Somewhere.
So it's a sizable deal. So maybe there's something big in there. Because I feel like none of these things are. I guess maybe the Middle Earth like rights are probably fairly expensive. That could be a bulk of that.
Yeah, and the Tatsujin thing, especially with the arcade game studios, Studio Tau Plan, that's pretty big also. So
all these studio costs that they paid was around 577 million.
Okay. So close to 600. So
yeah, it's like Middle Earth is the biggest thing. I'm not particularly enthusiastic about them buying it because there's no synergy there. What Embracer, they make video games because they have a whole bunch of video game companies now, developers. Maybe they do other things I'm not 100% aware of, But I would have preferred Amazon to have bought it because they make movies or they make TV shows. I guess, yeah, they make movies too. So it would have made more sense to me. I don't know. What are they going to do with it? They're just going to make a bunch of video games by their small developers, and maybe they'll make some cool stuff. But will we ever get the Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War level of video game? I don't think so. Sequel, add the question. I think at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would have made sense for Amazon to buy these. I mean, especially for Middle Earth, because you got Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power coming out September 2nd. So
I do wonder what that says about their prospects for that show, and maybe not just what they think about the show, but like the future. Like, did they? They spent a ton of money making that show.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it'll be really good, but maybe they're thinking it's not going to be as big of a success as we can hope, that we should buy it and spend more on it. Right? Will there be a second season, or is this just going to be like, yeah, we did it and it's good, and the response was good, but not wild. It's not going to like reinvigorate the Lord of the Rings craze like the original trilogy sort of did, and then spawn the Hobbit trilogy, which was not good, and sort of kind of killed.
That's Carl's opinion.
I think that's sort of the general opinion.
It killed New Line Cinema.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but then again, Benedict Cumberbatch's voice as the dragon, that was pretty cool. So anyway,
do you want my thoughts on that?
No, we're not going to get into that. That's for a different show. We're starting up a fantasy series.
All right.
From after this, so you can talk about those type of things on that show. But anyway. All right, so episode 100 continues. So now we're going to talk about our topic of the show. Gamescom is coming up next week. So there's a lot of showcases, a lot of things, a lot of live streams, things to talk about. So what we're expecting to see from Gamescom, that's what we're going to be talking about here in the topic of the show. But before we get into that, of course, in the comments, leave us some comments that you have on of course, the Embracer Group acquisitions and what you think of those. And did you think The Hobbit was a terrible series? Let us know. Anyway,
you just had to throw that in there, didn't you? You just had.
Of course. All right, so we got opening night live, Jeff Keighley. We've got Xbox. They've got a ton of stuff going on at Gamescom. So obviously Keeley's show is going to have another 30 plus games that he's going to be showing off, and he says there's going to be a bunch of special guests as well. So it's going to be another one of those Jeff Keighley type of shows. There's probably going to be a lot of advertising in it as well. Who knows if we'll see The Rock again in his show.
You gotta feel like he heard that criticism. He won't let that happen again.
Yeah, probably not. We'll see, but we'll see who else he gets. Whether Kojima is going to show up there or not. Maybe Kojima is going to show up on the Xbox side of things this time. So Carl, I'll start with you. What are you expecting from Gamescom 2022?
Well, yeah, I think it's a bit of a tough one because I don't know that we typically get big announcements for Gamescom anymore. At some point, there may have been a time where we did get a few. This is the only show really for Gamescom, right? There's live streams and stuff, but this is the only showcase where I would expect any sort of announcements. So this will be the thing to watch, and I assume there will be some. The issue I see is that when Keighley talks about it, when he markets this and he tweets about it and stuff, he says, and I pulled it up right here, what's going to be there. And he's, Sonic Frontiers, Hogwarts Legacy, Callisto Protocol, Outlast Trials, Gotham Knights.
And we've seen all of those already.
Yeah. Honkai Star Rail, Goat Simulator 3, Highland Life, the Expanse Telltale series, Return to Monkey Island. It's like most of this is stuff we've already seen a good amount of. We know what it is. Although there are two things on here I'm happy to see is the Expanse Telltale series. I want to see what the new Telltale is going to pull off with that. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
And Unknown Worlds new IP, which Unknown Worlds, if you don't know, is the maker of Subnautica.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Subnautica is really good. I played it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
A while ago. I really
me too.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And they actually, though, for me personally, said that they were announcing a turn-based RPG of some sort. So I was like, hell yeah, guys, thank you. I will take that. I cannot wait to see your next game.
Yes, you can see Carl's eyebrows rise as soon as they say turn-based.
The only other thing that could make them fully rise higher is day one Game Pass.
That would be
yeah. So
yeah,
do you think
will we get? Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you guys because there was some news about they were talking about there was going to be more gameplay footage of Starfield, and then they backed off on that. But do you think that there's a possibility we could get a new release date for Starfield at Gamescom?
No, I don't think so.
Not yet.
Yeah. Because the biggest show is Keighley's, right? The Game Awards. And
in December. Yeah.
So I think if they're gonna do it, something big like that, they'll do it there, or Xbox will have another event, maybe tied to if they're gonna try to do what did they have? I forgot the name of it. Whatever, I forgot. They used to have like an Xbox show, like a fan show. I forgot the name of it.
Oh, anyway. I can't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about. I might forget
the name of it. If that comes back this year, which it doesn't seem like it at this point. So,
yeah. Let me just talk about for the Xbox booth at Gamescom. They're saying, of course, this is from news at xbox.com for those attending in person. So for those of you that are out there in Cologne that are going to be going to this, you'll be able to go hands-on with some of the latest games and updates from Xbox Game Studios, including Pentiment from Obsidian, and Age of Empires 4, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Sea of Thieves, Grounded, and they'll be celebrating some of the third-party partners as well. And you can have playable titles at the booth, Plague Tale Requiem, of course, Disney Dreamlight Valley from Gameloft, Gunfire Reborn, Inkulinati from Yaza Games. It's another one. Last Case of Benedict Fox, Lies of P, Lightyear Frontier, Planet of Lana, and You Suck at Parking.
I think that goes in general for people.
From Studio Happy Volcano. That's a cool name for a game studio, but anyway. And consumer show opening times Thursday, from Thursday, August 25th, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Through Sunday, the 28th, Sunday show will be 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. CEST. So, but anyway, lots of live stream events and things like that. So, a lot of those games too are going to be shown. Go ahead, Carl.
In Kulinati it's funny because that game looks just like Pentiment. If people were like, oh, they copied Pentiment, but the what's his name? The developer behind Pentiment from Obsidian. Can't remember. Is it Brian Sawyer? No, Sawyer. Whatever his name. He commented on. He was like, no. He's like, actually, their game has like been in development before our game. He's like, just chill out. Like, it's not a big deal. It's a style. It's an art. It's a he didn't invent that style. Like, it's based on something. And actually, that game looks like. I mean, it looks more maybe something I might be more interested in. I don't know because it's turn-based sort of strategy combat. So but it looks like it might be really just that. I wanted to correct what I said about Unknown Worlds. This is what they actually said. They said they're going to showcase our new IP, a turn-based sci-fi strategy game.
Turn-based sci-fi, okay.
Turn-based sci-fi strategy, not necessarily RPG, but still. A lot of games have RPG elements, so good. In the vein.
I'm just looking forward to seeing more blood and gore from Callisto Protocol. Yeah. So, I mean, that and of course, I want to see more Hellblade 2. Hopefully, the Xbox show will show more Hellblade 2, and maybe we might possibly get some kind of release date on that. Or, like you said, Carl, maybe they're going to wait until the Game Awards for that. But yeah,
that's a good one. If I had to guess that anything that would make sense to show there would be Hellblade 2, because the association that they had already with Jeff Keighley's events.
Yeah.
And the idea that I don't think they should show it again at the Game Awards, because how many, you can't keep showing it the same event. That's really annoying.
Yeah.
So I want to see something new at that event. I don't want to keep seeing the same thing, even though as much as I do want to see more Hellblade 2. So
yeah, that's the same with Callisto Protocol. I mean, we saw a lot of it already anyway, but I mean, they're probably exactly. What we're going to see at Gamescom is probably almost similar to what we saw at the the so-called E3 events. But
yeah, that's the thing is I feel like a lot of the showcase I'll be like sort of tuning it out because it's like, okay, I've seen this game, I know what it's all about already. Like, it's not that I don't want to see more, but like I kind of my interest is already peaked. I know what to expect, which is like the Callisto Protocol, right? Like, do I really need to see more of that?
Yeah,
I'm
already sold on that. So
even like Hogwarts Legacy, I'd like to see a little bit more, but do I really need to see a lot more? Like, I'm sold on it. Like, I want that game.
Yeah, and like Gotham Knights has gone gold as well.
I don't need to see more. I've seen they've been doing their own marketing on that and releasing.
They've shown a lot of that.
We don't need to see any more of that. That's
IGN has the IGN first thing on it. They've been partnering with them and showing off aspects of the actual game, the progression system and like the world design, and like I've watched all that and I'm like, yeah, this looks interesting. Do I need to see it at another showcase? I don't know. I mean, maybe if you need, I think maybe just that one needs to be sort of marketed a little better to some people, because some people aren't sold on that game. I think it looks really good. But you know what? I forgot to mention with the Disney Marvel show. The one surprise that I would like, this would be cool to do here, would be the Indiana Jones game.
Okay,
It's a Disney property, and
it's a Disney property. Yeah, that's true. But then who knows? Maybe we'll see it at Keighley's show as well. You never know.
I think you'll maybe see it at the Microsoft event, but I'm curious. I wonder how much on Ubisoft Skull and Bones, because Ubisoft does not have as much this year. They've got to push that.
They got their own event coming though. That's after this, so I mean, maybe you'll see Skull and Bones here again, but like whatever new stuff they have, they're not.
And whatever they're pushing with Assassin's Creed, the Assassin's Creed Infinity. I mean, that's their big push, I think. So. Burley, I have a question. Let me ask you, Burley. I'm sorry. I just want to ask you on the PlayStation side of things. Obviously, there's rumors about a big PlayStation showcase coming in September. But what do you think we could get from PlayStation at Gamescom this year?
I don't think you could get much, because it's all just going to be all the same stuff that's like multi-platformed. Because Sony has been very good of just, they will hold stuff for their events.
Okay,
that's the way they've been doing things. So I don't see much in terms of like first party Sony stuff coming to the other showcase. But I'm curious to see, because Sega has been fighting a battle with the internet, with Frontiers, and saying no, this game ain't coming out. This game is not getting delayed this year. It's coming out, even though they haven't specified a release date, and they're saying, it's coming this year, and it's like, it's at the end of August here. So
I mean, if they're releasing it this year, the release date has to be at this show.
If it doesn't come at this, if they don't give a release date at the showcase, or they get more negative feedback, that game ain't coming this year.
Yeah, from Sony, I again, like you said, they keep everything to their show pretty much. I don't expect much of anything. God of War, like, I don't know, like I think they got that. Like, we're gonna do this on our own. maybe you could see more of the Last of Us remake.
I was gonna say, if any of them Last of Us remake,
Yeah,
because
because
what are you gonna hide on that? Because that game's come out twice already.
Yeah, it's not like a big reveal for them. They already gave it to Keeley at the last show, which they showed pretty much nothing. So maybe you show more of it this time for him. That would be nice. He's probably like, come on, guys, you gotta give me better than just a quick little trailer that didn't tell you much.
What do you guys think about Nintendo? Do you think anything from Nintendo will be at Gamescom? At any of these shows? Maybe not. Because we just had the Splatoon, like we did last week on the episode. We had the information. They had the direct for Splatoon 3. Of course, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is already out now. So I don't know. Carl, you're going to be talking about this game later on, Soul Hackers 2. Maybe they'll show some stuff again. But, I mean, we pretty much know a lot about that already. So, I mean, what else can they really talk about? I mean, they're not going to talk about anything hardware related. So
they're going to announce the Switch Pro.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Yeah. So, Burley, do you think Nintendo will do anything at Gamescom, or do you think they're pretty much, staying out of everything?
They're going to stay out. There may be an ad for Splatoon, but that's about it. That's all I could see for them. But as you said earlier for Kojima, I don't think he'll show up at the event. He'll be at the Microsoft event. Digitally, they'll just cut to him and all praise Kojima and all that, and talk about Death Stranding for PC Game Pass and whether or not if they have any idea if they're going to release it to the actual consoles.
Or who knows, he might surprise us and come out with that mystery game that, this another horror game supposedly that he's working on now.
Yeah. It'd be great if they're ready to show it. Like, please show me something, anything. Like, you tease the hell out of Death Stranding like way early,
and they're gonna do it again. They're gonna do it again.
Yeah, like nonsensical CG stuff that people are just speculating wildly on.
And you can play this only on Game Pass for PC. That's probably going to happen. Yeah. All right. So that's what we think to expect from Gamescom 2022. Of course, in the comments, please let us know what you think is going to happen at Gamescom this year for any of the events that they're going to be doing and the live streams and everything. So we'd really like to hear your feedback. So, leave us some comments. So, all right. So it's time for our new game releases. So upcoming games that you can check out on releases.com. The link is below for you, for all of you video viewers here. So, Burley, you are up first. So, for the games releasing August 22nd through the 28th, what is your pick of the week?
Already, my pick of the week is a collection. Neximon plus Neximon Extinction Complete Collection. Coming to PS4, Switch, and Xbox. It's coming on Friday, August 26th. Return once again to classic monster catching and experience the complete Neximon story with 2 epic adventures in one.
Have you played a Neximon?
Yeah, I have. I played a bit of Extinction and it was really, really fun. I do like they do. The one thing is like they try with a story, unlike a certain
Pokemon.
other. Yes,
just say it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No. If you see a red dot sniper sight on me, you know why.
Really cannot speak ill of Pokemon. It's bread and butter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The art style looks nice. Like, I see the art on this, and I'm like, hey Pokemon guys, maybe you could catch up and do higher quality art. The design great. They're great designs, but like I don't know about art. It's like fidelity, right? Like this looks like higher resolution art compared to what Pokemon does when they were doing Yeah.
And Burley,
2D.
once again, what platforms is this coming out on?
PS4, Switch, and Xbox One.
Okay. No Xbox Series, huh? That's interesting.
Well, they did no Series version or PS5 version.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, I am up next. Okay, so next up, my pick of the week is Saints Row. Welcome to Santo Ileso, a vibrant fictional city in the heart of the American Southwest, in a world rife with crime, where lawless factions fight for power. Kind of seems like what America is driving towards. A group of young friends embark on their own criminal venture. I apologize. I love you guys out there. Of course, I'm American, but living out here in Japan, I'm seeing it from the outside now. But anyway, as they rise to the top in their bid to become self-made, experience the biggest and best Saints Row playground ever created. The unique, sprawling world of Santo Elisa is the backdrop for a wild, larger-than-life sandbox of thrilling side hustles, criminal ventures, and blockbuster missions as you shoot, drive, and wingsuit your way to the top. Comes out on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series on August 23rd. So, yeah, coming up soon. So, yeah, good old Saints Row. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I mean, I think it's going to be very, very different from the older, Saints Row games, and I'm looking forward to seeing, and checking out these characters and their personalities, and I'm looking forward to the gameplay in it all as well. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I hope it's good. I'm not excited for it because it's not my sort of genre of.
Not your cup of tea.
Yeah, like the setting, sort of. I'm not into the whole crime, modern sort of crime stuff. Not.
It kind of reminds me of the GTA 5 kind of backdrop. I mean, once you get out of Los Santos, and you get into the desert areas, kind of reminds me of that. Yeah.
Like as a sandbox sort of experience, it could be great, and if it was on Game Pass, I might try it. Otherwise, I'm obviously not going to play this game.
Yeah. Okay, so
go ahead, I was going to say my thing. I tried this series. It never was a series I got. I couldn't really get into. But I'm curious to see if they'll still keep some of the more zany or wacky elements of it, because that was the thing that kind of made me appeal to it over like Grand Theft Auto. So I'm wondering how much will be kept.
Yeah. I'm interested in it. See how it is. That's my pick of the week. So Carl, you're up next. What's your pick of the week?
Soul Hackers 2, coming on August 26th to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series. A story set in midst of the 21st century, a little further in the future from now. Demon summoners live in dark societies and harness the supernatural powers of demons. And Aeon, a being that watches over the world, detects the world's forthcoming ruin. To avoid ruin, Aeon's Ringo and Figu descend upon the human world. They head for protect the people. Two people. What the hell is that saying? Whatever. Needed to avert destruction, but both had already been killed. Ringo deploys Aeon's special ability Soul Hack to revive their targets. Working alongside the Devil Summoners, Ringo and Figu pursue a mystery with the future of the world at stake. Will you be able to avert destruction? Yeah, that's there's a weird
do you know what Ringo means in Japanese? Do you know what Ringo means in Japanese? It means apple.
No.
Means apple.
Okay. This other name, I don't know how I'm supposed to be saying it. It's Figue.
Figue.
Okay. Does that have a meaning?
It's just a name, yeah. Okay. But Ringo is an actual, it's a fruit.
Yeah.
It's apple, but yeah.
All right. So yeah, there's an aspect that they're getting into here about the people dying, and that they can somehow bring them back.
Yeah.
Which is the members of your party.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for this game. I saw the reviews came out, and it wasn't quite as high as I had hoped. Getting a lot of in the 7s range, and up or down depending on where you go. So it still sounds like a solid Atlas, RPG.
Well, obviously, Atlas's bread and butter is the Persona series, of course, but yeah. So
well, this is an offshoot of the whole franchise. For me, going into it, and maybe others who haven't gotten into it, especially on the Xbox platform, because they haven't had these games, it sounds like a good entry point, an entry level Atlas RPG in the Shin Megami Tensei Persona area, right? So I'm still excited to get that out of it, and then I'll have Persona 5 soon after.
I was gonna say I would personally probably just wait till Persona 5 in October.
Yeah, I mean maybe that's something considering the reviews.
I've not played the Soul Hackers, but I know like the Shin Megami Tensei line. I cannot get into that one. Persona I can get into. Persona's a little more beginner friendly, and especially how you can do the difficulty, because Shin Megami Tensei is just hard and is, as I've said many times, just makes you need to grind like so much even at the beginning of the game, so you can stand a chance. It's like,
from the reviews for this I saw, there's none of that. It's definitely more akin to the Persona series, and even so, taking a lot of inspiration from the modern aesthetics of Persona 5 as well. So, I have it pre-ordered, and I'm gonna keep that pre-order. I'm gonna play it, and I'm excited to jump into it. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth has been, and I'm gonna support this type of game that I should definitely be into and enjoy on the Xbox platform. Even if it's not getting like 8s and 9s, like it's fine.
Yeah,
it's okay.
So
we're looking forward to
second game of the year you've bought.
I mean,
sorry.
well, we're looking forward, Carl, to your review of it, to tell us what you think of it. So.
What did?
I'm really looking forward to you. You did Triangle Strategy. I know that much.
I bought Triangle Strategy.
Yeah.
Oh, Warhammer Chaos Gate.
Yeah, true. So 3.
That's PC. Darkest Dungeon 2 was that this year? Earlier? I don't remember.
Okay, so as we move on with episode 100, now it's time to talk about Game Pass. Of course, the second half of August games, and of course, earlier in the show we talked about Kojima's Death Stranding is coming to Game Pass for PC. So, Carl, take it away, man. What are we getting in this second half of August?
So, right before I get to that, there was an available now thing dropped on Windows for Windows PC Game Pass only.
Okay.
A special little one, which has Elder Scrolls Legend Battlespire, Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard, Quake 4, Wolfenstein 3D, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, and Quake Champions.
Right. So a lot of those Bethesda classics. So,
yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. If you're interested in any of those, they're out there on PC.
Cool.
Then if we go to the full Xbox Game Pass announcement that we had, the second of the month.
Yep.
First up is Coffee Talk, which is available now on everything there, all the platforms. Then is August 23rd, Midnight Fight Express, which is a cool little indie launching into the service. And then also on the 23rd was the Death Stranding. PC only on that one.
Yeah.
Then we have Exapunks, August 25th, PC only.
Yeah.
Opus Echo of Star Song, Full Bloom Edition, console and PC, August 25th.
I love that name. That's
Commandos 3 HD Remaster, August 30th. On everything there.
Nice.
Commandos is interesting. I remember this franchise. I have played I'm not sure which one, the first or second, I don't remember, but it was a cool little franchise, sort of like a top-down strategy infiltration. Sort of, you got to kind of be stealthy, and each of your units has special abilities, and you have to find a way to get through the map, covertly. It's very cool. And then Immortality, which is again on interestingly, this is cloud PC and Xbox Series only, no Xbox One. August 30th, which I'm kind of weird and not unsure why, because this is from the creators of Her Story, and this is one of those what do you call the FMV type games.
No,
so not sure why that can't be on Xbox One, but all right.
Yeah.
This is kind of a big one. Is Immortals: Phoenix Rising on August 30th. Yeah, that's the Ubisoft.
Another Ubisoft
mythology, Breath of the Wild type game.
Right.
Try that out.
I do kind of want to try that. Like, it's a game I should definitely like. I just haven't really thought about the time of playing it, because I'm probably gonna be playing Soul Hackers 2. So I guess if I didn't get that for some reason, I would probably try to jump into that.
I heard there are some platform elements in that game that are pretty difficult. So
Okay.
Yeah. But
And then lastly, but let's say not leastly, is Tinykin. Console PC, August 30th.
Okay.
I don't know much about that game.
I don't know, just from the looks of the artwork and the art style there, it's like you would think it would be something for like Games with Gold or something like that. Yeah.
Well, it's an indie. It's an ID at Xbox title.
Yeah, ID.
Here it says Milo arrives on Earth to find that he's way too small. Everybody's gone, and a day hasn't passed since 1991. Team up with the mysterious Tinykin and use our unique powers to create ladders, bridges, explosions, and a lot more.
Yeah, out of this list, I think Immortals: Phoenix Rising is the big one. So looking forward to playing that.
Yeah. A Midnight Fight.
Yeah, that one I want
really
to
fun.
Yeah. Coffee Talk. I mean, if you could actually talk about anything, I mean, if it's like a real AI and you can actually talk about any topic you want, maybe I would probably want to try that.
I'll read that one because I'm curious what it is. Coffee Talk is a coffee brewing and heart-to-heart talking simulator about listening to the stories of alternative Seattle's inhabitants. From a dramatic love story between an elf and a succubus to an alien trying to understand the lives of humans, help everyone you meet by serving up a warm drink or two. Okay. So you can't just talk to an AI and then they have a conversation with you about anything. So no. We're not that advanced here.
Not that advanced.
For all the creatures there they mentioned there, and love story. Do you think really coffee is the beverage that should be talking about for this?
Yeah. All right.
But a solid list of games here for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right, so those are our so Game Pass games coming towards the end of the month. So
hey Burley, what's the PS Plus Extra Premium drop list for this month or half a month or?
We talked about those last week. Actually,
we did talk about those. You got you got a couple of Yakuza.
The Yakuza games, yeah.
That was a while ago. The reason I make the comment is like Xbox, obviously, like it's new in that service. It isn't, coming in strong, I guess. But it's weird because like Stray was about a month ago now.
Yep.
And that was the last new game released into that service, right?
Like a day one. Launch.
Yeah. So we're halfway. We're a month out. You guys are gonna announce another new game coming into?
Come on, Carl. What are you saying? You guys? It's like Burley doesn't have PlayStation.
No, not you. I'm not. I mean Sony. I'm talking about Sony now.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Where's it?
It's not like I have.
Sony, man, you gotta step up your game. Your service is being forgotten about. That's what I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
Everyone still talks about Game Pass all the time.
Yeah.
And that's because they have 2 drops a month and there's always something significant coming to it.
Yeah, and that's what Sony and PlayStation are worried about. And obviously, with the Call of Duty acquisition with Activision Blizzard and all that, of course, obviously they have their, reasons, I guess, to worry about, their service compared to Game Pass. So, because Call of Duty is going to be going to Game Pass. So, okay, so it's time here on episode 100 to talk about our programming notes. So obviously, after this episode is recorded, we're going to be doing our next episode of the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena, where we'll be talking about the first episode of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. We'll be giving our reactions and kind of our spoiler review of episode 1, so stay tuned for that. And our new series is starting as well today. So for the fantasy series discussion portal, House of the Dragon Season 1 preview. House of the Dragon obviously starts this weekend on Sunday, so we're really looking forward to that. So we're going to be talking about some of the things that we're probably most definitely going to be seeing in Season 1. So stay tuned for that as well. So yeah, some cool stuff coming out. Got a lot of stuff coming up, this weekend and into the end of the month and into September. So yeah, we're looking forward to bringing you that content. And yeah, I want to talk about some things about episode 100. Of course, this is our 100th episode, and I just want to talk for a minute or two about this podcast. And when I was thinking about creating this podcast a little over 2 years ago, me and of course the first co-host I had of this podcast with me, Retro Dan, of course Dan, and I had talked about, I would really like to do a podcast, but I want it to be more multi-platform focused. I don't want it to be a PlayStation only podcast. I don't want it to be a Microsoft only podcast. I want it, or a Nintendo only podcast. I wanted it to be focused on everything in the world of gaming and in gaming development, and condense it into a 1 to 2 hour show. And I didn't know where this would go. I had no idea that this would go on to episode 100 and beyond. And I just want to thank everybody out there that has been a part of this show, either listening or viewing us over on YouTube, or also, of course, our excellent and awesome patrons over on Patreon that listen and view the show. I want to thank you so much. I mean, all of the guests that we've had on the show since we started this podcast. I want to thank you all so much for being a part of it as well. And of course, to you, Burley and Carl, thank you so much for becoming a part of this with me. And I couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to doing this from, of course, the next episode and beyond for a long time to come. So thank you so much for everybody out there. And to you, Burley and Carl. So you guys have anything you want to say? Burley, why don't you start, man?
Yeah. I was going to say, no, thank you. I was very glad to always be a part of this. This has been a lot of fun. I remember when you first were starting the talks of this, doing the podcast, because you and I were in a similar Discord. And then I remember listening to the first episodes, and then you actually gave me a chance coming out here as a guest. I was like, oh God, how can I fool this guy? And then he kept bringing me back. And it was just, I was like, okay, I've got him fooled. Now to trick him into making me a co-host. No, you just, things have just clicked. It's just been this has been a lot of fun. I love doing this every week with you and Carl. It's just been a lot of fun.
Carl?
Yeah. Thanks, of course. Thanks for giving me the chance to be a part of it. Yeah. I of course love video games, and I'm very happy to be able to talk about it with you guys. Of course, it's always fun every week. Yeah. I've always before I did the podcast about comic book movies, superhero movies, and other stuff in that genre, Star Wars and things, and we didn't ever talk about video games on that really, because my co-host there he doesn't play video games. wasn't his thing. And I would always thought about like, I would love to do something with video games, if I could expand what I was doing into video games, but I just didn't have the time and I didn't have someone to do it with. So, and once that ended, I wasn't sure I was ever going to do something like this again or not. And, you gave me that opportunity, and I'm grateful to be here and so happy to talk about video games. So.
Well, thank you guys so much. And for all of you out there that might be new to our YouTube channel, please be sure. And of course, all of you that have been coming back to check out our content, be sure to hit that like and subscribe and the notification bell for any content that we drop in the future. So you'll be notified about that. So thank you so much for all of your support. So we really appreciate it. So thank you so much. So it's now time for our indie recording artist spotlight. So you're going to like this song for this week. I really, of course, wanted to do something kind of retro in a sense when it came to the music this week. And of course, this is an 8-bit type of track. And our indie recording artist spotlight this week is on Ian Post. And he's, of course, been on this show before. So Ian Post has established himself as a highly sought-after composer in video and film scoring. So an alumnus of the Berklee College of Music, his professional career has taken him throughout the world to collaborate with artists on an extensive range of projects. He recently left his London-based studio in order to partner with Artlist, with a focus on film soundtracks and exclusive production projects. So from his album titled 8-Bit Tunes, and the song is called Super Duper, No Leads. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 100. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. We hope to catch you in the next one. Episode 101 next week, we'll be talking about Gamescom. So take care, everyone. Peace out.
Game begin. When the drum beats go like this.